I took a DNA test that revealed my mom's 11-year affair, and none of us are my dad's biological children. My parents were high school sweethearts. They began dating when they were 16. They dated for 4 years, and then my mom, 59F, became pregnant with my oldest sister, 39F. At that point, my dad, 59M, chose to do what he thought was the right thing and dropped out of college. Before that, he was on the path to medical school and pursuing his dreams of becoming a doctor, but he ended up marrying my mom and started working at a desk job at my grandpa's ADM company. Later on, my parents had 3 more children, my older sisters, 35F and 33F, and then me, 30F. My childhood was pretty normal. My dad worked, and my mom stayed at home taking care of me and my sisters. Dad was always very present in our lives, and my sisters and I were daddy's girls. We were all very attached to him, and I, in particular, was exceptionally close to him. When I was 13, I was diagnosed with leukemia, and he never left my side. He held my hand during chemo sessions throughout the entire ordeal. He consoled me when I had my first heartbreak, assuring me that everything would be all right. He taught me how to drive and walked me down the aisle 3 years ago when I married my husband. He told me that moment was one of the happiest days of his life. I was always his favorite as well. My parents were happy. I never saw them fighting or anything like that. My dad took my mom on date nights at least twice a week, and he spoiled her a lot. They seemed really in love. My parents were the perfect couple. Everyone saw them as something flawless, an example of true love. My mom was my dad's only one, and my dad was my mom's only one. It was something that he was very proud of and was really special for him, so I felt really bad when I lost my first time to my ex-boyfriend and realized that I could never have the same thing as my parents. My dad's mom passed away during childbirth, and my grandpa raised him as a single parent. He never remarried or dated anyone after her passing, as far as I know, and grandpa refused to talk about grandma, as it was very painful for him. He never met anyone from grandma's side of the family, and grandpa didn't talk much about her. In June, I bought a 23andMe kit for both me and my dad, thinking it would be cool to see if he had any relatives on grandma's side, and we did the tests together. Upon completing the tests, I discovered that I had 2 half-brothers, and we shared the same father. We were honestly confused, and my dad and I didn't understand it. We initially thought it was a mistake. When we told mom about this, she froze, started crying, and under further pressure, she confessed to having an 11-year affair with one of my dad's friends. He had been our neighbor at a certain point in our lives, and was in the same class as both dad and mom. I remember seeing him around when I was a kid, and he was a close friend of the family. Dad was in denial, thinking it was a mistake. My sisters and I ended up doing a test at a hospital, and 3 days later, the results arrived. No one matched with Dad. He was not our father. For the first time in my 30 years of life, I saw my dad cry, not just a normal cry, but full-on sobbing, like the world was ripped away from him. We tried to talk to him, but he got up, grabbed his keys, and left. We tried to call him 100 times, and he didn't answer. My mom was having a panic attack, so my oldest sister took her to the hospital. We didn't hear from Dad for 3 entire days. We searched for him everywhere, and eventually, my grandpa found him at the family fishing cabin, but it was already too late. He didn't leave any notes or anything like that. In 9 days, I discovered that my mom had an 11-year affair, that my dad wasn't my biological father, and that he was now gone forever. Words can't describe how broken I felt. His funeral was another mess. My dad's side of the family got into a fight with my mom's side of the family. My grandpa and uncles ended up kicking my mom out of the funeral. It was a disaster. The first time I saw my grandpa crying as well, something I wish I hadn't seen. He entered a really deep depression after that and barely speaks anymore. After the funeral, neither I nor my sisters could look at mom anymore. We just couldn't. I can't look my sisters in the eye either, and I blame myself every day for suggesting that stupid test. Thanksgiving this year was the first time we didn't celebrate as a family, in freaking 33 years. I can't look at my mother anymore. She spends her days staring at a wall, and her side of the family is pressuring me and my sisters to re-establish contact, but I just can't. I found out that I'm pregnant last week and I'm not even happy. I feel hopeless, so broken. Sometimes, I start to think about Dad, and my heart feels like it's going to explode. I miss him so much.